terrible timing. Sorry. Good evening, happy Thursday, and welcome to this week's installment of Darkness over New Orleans. I'm your storyteller, Dylan. My pronouns are he, they. We have two kindred with us tonight. We have Christian, who will be playing Maximilian. We have Thaddeus, who is playing Aubrey. Robin cannot be with us tonight, but she will be in the chat, hopefully. So, I will be playing our very fun little friend. I guess it's Thorn now, since he tore up his face and gave it to the creep. So now I'll be playing Thorn. Gentlemen, why don't you go ahead and do your intros?
I'll go first. Hey, everybody. Hey, it's Christian, aka Fluffy Goomba. Several socials, mainly on TikTok. You can also find me here on Twitch. Several days, several games, several wonderful people. You can also find me on Sundays, 8 p.m. EST on Total Party Kiss for Tragic Theologian, Greek Myth Inspired 5e campaign. I today am playing Maximilian Washington, Gangrel, leader of this coterie. Our pronouns both are he, him.
Thaddeus?
I was just letting it set in for fun. I have one. Thaddeus Atlas, the man who's forming an underground band. He's got a mom who is almost a nightstand. He's looking to get his friends out of this fucked up land. I'm Aubrey Valentine.
All right. And like I said, I'm Dylan. You can find me across the interwebs. Roll for Dylan. Without further ado, let's jump into it, shall we? Blah. I realized I did not use my catchphrase. Let's sink our fangs into this week's episode of Darkness over New Orleans. So, when last we left off, our party had met with the Creep, who was played by our friend Natural Geekery. Ambrose had seen the Creep before in New York City 10 years ago, but now all that remains is just a little bit of skin and a whole lot of mech. Turned himself into a cyborg, pretty much, with a camcorder shoved into where his left eye should be. His whole body is just a bunch of mechanical parts and keyboards and other mechanical apparatuses, and wires that were suspending him in air a little bit. He allowed the coterie to ask him a few questions, so long as they gave him something was it personal to them, whether that's information, something that's on their person. Maximilian handed over his boxing card, the one that he used from all the way going up in the ranks up to the Golden Gloves and the Olympics. Aubrey, what did you give? Or did you not ask a question? I don't think you did.
I didn't ask a question. I attempted to give up everything, and he performed the favor without so much as payment.
There it is. And Ambrose had given up his face. He took off the Ambrose face from his little pouch of faces and got some information. Whether or
Really
not
had
the
to face the music.
face the music, whether or not he had to, he actually got good information. You guys are received. That's all. Yes and no at the same time. But nonetheless, you got information. And with that, he at the end of your meeting with him, he rose himself up into the ceiling with his wires, and then downloaded himself into a different being elsewhere. You guys left off outside of the creep's hovel, we'll call it. So let's start up right from there. Players, the stage is yours.
Let's face facts. We really didn't get any of them.
Well, we got more warnings than anything else, but that's something at least.
Average night for the coterie. Look, more people are out to kill you, and the world wants you dead. Deader than we've already made you.
That's about the thick and thin of it, yeah. Pretty much.
And at the end of all things, your mother may become furniture. I'm really enjoying my own life, Max.
That you might be the outlier in that scenario, I would say.
So this isn't the standard.
No,
Okay.
not at all.
I was just starting to assume that I was just dealing with what everyone dealt with, and I got by thinking, we all go through hard times, but I'm winning the emotional damage lottery.
I mean, I had no retort.
You could always call your dad for advice. I would, but I'm winning the emotional damage lottery. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna talk to my mom later. No, can't do that. Sorry, I was having a moment.
Would you want to talk with me in their stead?
I'm not going to call you daddy.
I wouldn't want you to.
Not even if there's a fire.
Not even.
Maybe if there was a fire. I'm quite scared of fire. I don't know what that is now. I wasn't always scared of fire. I actually enjoyed a lighter. The smell of the butane. Now it's... fire bad.
I mean, I guess that's just the nature of the beast, right?
S'mores were my favorite things. And now, can't do the steaks. Can't do the fire. Can't do the eating.
It is a very raw deal.
Who would have thought s'mores? Vampire's greatest weakness. That's how they should get us. Not waiting to see if they invite us inside. Offer us a nice s'more. Would you like to make s'mores with me? No, I can't. I'll go running for the woods.
It's the ultimate trap.
And here we are, Thorns, so afraid of the lights suddenly melting us. And all I have to do is go to the barbecue section.
I mean, that is a new fear, but for some reason, I mean, I'm glad for it, but I seem to be holding myself, like, not accountable. That's not the right word, but able to stand at least for a few moments next to fire. So
You all intriguingly tough, but, well, unsurprisingly the best of us. My new fear is, were sharks.
that should be a fear for everybody. Honestly, that shouldn't just be a vampire thing. That's a fear for people who are scared of were creatures, people who are scared of deep water, people who are scared of sharks. There's a whole club of people that hate that. Me included.
A specialty of mine is implanting false memories or beliefs inside people's heads, and truly horrifying them, making them pay for the things that they've done wrong in life by confronting their worst fears. And I can say that I've never come up with anything that fucked up. It's almost as if this world was created by some sort of high-powered, really demented mind. What kind of sick fuck would think that up? Surely, this is proof that there is either a god or maybe none.
Put a tally up for both, I suppose.
Ambrose comes out from the shadow that he was sneaking behind and goes, "We could be gods. We've heard it before, haven't we? The prince said so."
And look what a prince is now.
But the difference between the prince and us is we're not insane, right?
Yes, sooner or later he's going to have to face reality that there's a lot more to this game than just him as a player.
Are you referring to the dead prince?
I am. Oh, I was referring to the monster that went into the darkness and controls the darkness, the sheriff. Yes, that's a thing.
There's a lot more to being God than just being higher.
But you do understand that we are stronger than the normal people out there. We have control over ourselves when the beast isn't around, but we can do things that, in fact, make us somewhat akin to a god. I, for instance, can change and manipulate myself, my body. I can become a monstrous being, a creature of utter terrible things. Aubrey, you can make people's minds melt.
Yes, I have a.
You
verbal
can
date ready
corrode
for
your
this very
blood if you wanted to. Max, you can speak to animals. These are not little trinkets. These are things that gods perform. Why shouldn't we become gods?
This is the most fucked up Power Ring scenario I was just imagining. Earth, fire, heart, and you can talk to animals. You're a Disney princess, you are.
I'm not sure if it was the meeting with the creep that made me dizzy right now, but I think that I might be seeing things a little more clearly.
Well, before you go seeing things too clearly and see through, remember, we can still be killed. We can still be destroyed. We can still be exploited by things simple as a match or running water or being stabbed. S'mores. Or the big, huge ball of gas in the sky.
But that's only like 15, 16 hours a day.
Human beings may not have much, but they have a lot over us.
The daylight.
You know what gives a god its power?
Belief?
Belief. People need to believe in that thing in order for it to hold power. I'm sure that we can make people believe in us. Not just the three of us, but us all kindred life. And
So
with
you're
that
saying
belief,
coming out from the darkness.
yes. The masquerade is a joke. Did you not hear what the creep said? That there are certain cities that are not like this at all? Sabbat cities, Anarch cities? Imagine, just imagine, the free reign that you could have in a city like that. Not having to hide, being able to feed when you want, control the areas as you like. Yes, we have our limitations. Yes, the sun is a son of a bitch. Yes, we can get impaled and be put into torpor. But there is so much more that we could do with freedom to make ourselves stronger.
Some people see the belief in no God And they think, wow, if there was really no God and no religion, people would just burst into anarchy. They'd do whatever they want. And some people don't need that to be good people. I don't need an Anarch City to gain power. I don't need an Anarch City to feel free. I can do the right thing without being told what to do. That's the freedom I crave. If yours is just another system of power, you're merely recreating the Camarilla.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's no law. There is law, but it's extremely watered down version of this nonsense that we have to abide to here.
Yes, where the biggest person on the block, I guess, can do whatever they want, and it's all based on strength and whatever you can accomplish. That sounds more of the same to me.
I fear, Aubrey, that our endgame goals are different.
Explain yours.
Say again?
Explain yours. Mine is clear, if you really did listen to my music. That everybody knows about us and has no reason to fear us.
Why?
Fear control. Don't fear the darkness.
Aubrey. Sweet, sweet Aubrey. They should fear us. They are our means of sustenance. If you see a pod of fish and then a shark comes along, do they not part way for the shark? Do they not leave enough room to not get chomped on? Or do they let the monster within to do as it pleases?
Big, scary Thor. This is why. The two of us can never be just friends. When I look at you and I think of all the awful things you've done, all the people that you've hurt, just look at you. Look at little boy. No matter how many people you hurt, you will never feel strong. You will never feel safer for having hurt people the way they've hurt you. It does not bring you strength to feel power over others. Your safety is amongst your friends, and I will never not be here, little boy, to protect the world from you and to protect you from yourself.
Let me tell you this, Aubrey. That little boy that once was, it was all a lie. He never knew the truth, but I see it so clearly now. I need people around me, yes, I suppose I do. But right now it does not seem like you two are the proper company.
Yes, well, just more chains restricting the strengths you can show how tough you are. Beat your chest. Let them know who you really are.
I intend to, Aubrey, I intend to.
Disappointing.
You will not be disappointed once you see the fruits of my labor.
Yes, go make more mundane works with beautiful clay. It is what you do after all. Replicate finer works. Go be creative.
Ambrose just squeezes his hands together, and you see the nails like starting to like dig into his skin. And he just tilts his neck a little bit and just, I will be going for a little bit. I don't need superior clay. I can work with anything. I can work with whatever I can find.
Go show them how tough you are. Maybe that little boy inside of you will feel safe for an evening.
Aubrey, you
Aubrey
will eat
begins
these
humming a song
words.
that the chair was like singing to the both of them.
I'm just gonna stand in between the two of them, and I think, Jesus, like in Max's head is just like, I gotta stop, no, don't do this. And I think just while he's humming that tune away, I think Max is just to Ambrose is just like, just remember our conversation about the price of freedom.
Your freedom shall be fine. I do not intend on encroaching upon that. Why, I have made my promise to you, Max.
Just a thing to think about. The price of freedom, who pays it, and the cost.
Oh, I'm
And it's
well
not just
aware
one
who will
price.
pay the cost this time.
Remember, it's not just one payment. It's not just one payment. It's never just one and done.
No.
Your actions have consequences, and those consequences have consequences, and it can all come back on you and us.
The first domino has already fallen. I think it would be best right now if I take my leave of this conversation. What do you two have planned for the rest of the evening?
Don't think I owe you that answer. Maybe just let it be on your mind, all the things that I'll be doing when you're not here.
Very well. Max, will you be tailing with this one, or are you to do your own thing this evening?
I mean, I got a lot to think about, but I'm gonna make sure that Aubrey gets home safe while you go, I assume, hunting.
Oh no, I'm not hunting at all.
Hunting implies failure. They're going killing.
No, I'm not.
Care to tell me where you are going then?
They're taking up woodworking.
If I were to tell you where I was going, I know you would stop me. So,
Now, if that's not a cry for help,
would you like to help me, Aubrey?
you need so much of it. Why not borrow a pair of hands? And since I don't want you taking them off of the first person you see, maybe it's best if I tag along. Although you with a second pair of hands, I do like to think of what you could accomplish.
If I wanted to, I could have 6 pairs of hands.
Can't say I'm not at least a little intrigued to see what that would look like. Oh, you just mean like you take them and you just own them, not that you apply them.
Oh no, I could attach arms to my body like a centipede. I could have hundreds of arms with hundreds of hands. The things I could accomplish all at once.
I've been reading this Dungeon Master manual, and oh, the creatures.
I'm sure there could be many a creature from that book. I think there is a monster that looks like that.
We could work our way through the book. Smash or pass.
We could do that. That is a thing we could do without even that, but I do have things to think about. So I don't want my thoughts being muddled.
Completely, absolutely. I mean, once you've seen a monster, it's hard to see anything else.
It's crazy that our friendship started with talking about smashing. Now we're here.
It all comes back to our roots. So how about it? Turn in for the night, or let this one get up to trouble on their own?
I think I'm gonna let them go. They've been through a lot tonight. I mean, like, because this is like right after seeing them break down, and
Mm-hmm.
I think he deserves to be alone with his thoughts after he's given a lot tonight and not gotten much back. So I think he needs a win, and I think Max would like look over to Ambrose. Hey, as long as you're not trying to make moves with certain kidnappers or their associates, fellow kidnappers and their associates, I hope whatever you do have planned goes well. I I know we tease and talk about this whole freedom thing, but there's some people whose idea of freedom is just another idea of control and chains, another twisted perversion of puppeting. I don't want you getting involved with the harvester.
I can guarantee you he is not to be concerned with me making an alliance with him. He's opened my eyes to other things, yes. He interests me. I am very interested by him. But no. No, I will not align with him.
Also, this book talk has got to end too.
Why?
You know
Yes.
why.
Reading is just awful. It's not a good look for you.
I worked hard to learn how to read. And I will
know, but
not
if
be
you do it
silent.
at
I will
night-
not be stopped from reading again by anyone.
Well, when you do it in the dark, it strains the eyes. It's just not a good look. Could you imagine you in glasses? Actually, it's okay if you do a little bit of reading at night.
That book is too much trouble
Some Buddy Holly glasses.
for you specifically. Think about the history of that book and think about your history. Mix those together. How bad does it get for New Orleans? How bad does it get for us? How bad does it get for you? You can't read it if you're double dead.
That's how I'm gonna start saying that. Double dead.
I could take the book and leave. If I find a copy of it somewhere, I could just leave. I'd be gone. You wouldn't have to worry about me.
But I would. That's the point.
But would you really, though, Max?
Of course I would.
Selfish.
There are times where I question all of our friendships. I know that I am more of a monster than the rest of you. I know that you look at the things I make and it disgusts you. puts you on edge. The way I interact with people, it's not the way that you all would handle yourselves. I am the odd one out. I am the black sheep of this group. Even when we did have Kieran with us, I was still me. I always will be me. If I were to leave once I have that which I require, you might be better off without me then at that point.
But I need you for the dangers that are present right now. That includes the Harvester. That includes the Mkole. I need you.
Will leaving be easy for you? The way you say it is. You just get the book and go. It's just that simple.
I've done it before.
I didn't ask if you've done it before. You like to remind us that you've done it before. Would you just leave? Would it be that easy for you?
Under certain circumstances, I believe that it would be easier. It would be a difficult decision, but a necessity arises in my leaving. And I think it's obvious by now, when you all see that I have something in mind that I plan on doing, I follow through with it. And if I know that I need to leave, I will do it.
The only thing that's become obvious is that you are unwilling to grow. Unilateral decisions that you'll make for all of us. As if we just don't matter to you. Well, if you think for a single moment that we'll just let you go, then you're as crazy as turning my mother into a chair makes you look. You're not leaving. So go have fun. Do what you need to do tonight. Take your leave of me, see how it feels. Revel in it. But remember, if you're gone long, I will find you. Mark my words, Ambrose. I will find you.
This may be one of the few times, Aubrey, where you might not want to find me.
For better or worse, this connection between us has already been made.
Oh, I know. Whether it was by accident or on purpose, I am aware of this bond that we have growing between us.
With it, I've gotten very good at treating the addicts I care about. And even if I have to, take from you the things that make you awful, I will ensure that you live a very long life.
What do you mean you would take from me, Aubrey?
The memory of us you'd never see me coming. Even if, just like my mother, I watch from the shadows, you will spend the rest of your life being protected by me whether you want me there or not. So you have your choice.
If
Do so with the knowledge that I'm there, do so without.
If I know anything about heartache and trying to not remember people from the past, what you suggest might actually be just a little bit of a blessing. as much as I hate to admit it.
It does sound like you. Shouldn't you be off? You said you were leaving, but you're still here.
Ambrose looks over at Max and just gives a gentle nod. Anything else?
No, darling, be safe.
Be careful.
You have people that care about you.
And he just turns, pushes up against the side of the building, and slinks away. You see him do a double take around the area before he slides around the corner on the opposite end of the building.
He's infuriating.
He's something. That's
I thought you had a way with
something.
animals.
So what was that?
Thought you had a way with animals. Speak their language.
There's a difference between animals and animalistic.
I wish there wasn't. Maybe then you could help them see. The world where the biggest monster doesn't have to be afraid of anyone is only not afraid until a bigger monster comes along. And the only thing you ensure in creating monsters is there's always a bigger monster. But when the people are together, they have each other. An endless amount of people, no matter how weak, don't have to be scared of monsters. I don't like to think about a world without him. Selfishly, I'd be a lot stronger when there are more of us than there are of them.
I guess that's just how they were brought up, growing up. I mean, he's basically groomed by monsters. So that mindset, being the biggest fish in the pond, being the biggest monster, being the one in control, to escape that weakness. I've seen it before.
I imagine in your line of work you've seen a lot of people step into the ring, eager to feel strong again, eager to remind the person inside of them that they're not a victim, but wringing out your hate on a weaker opponent. Growing strong that way will never make you feel so. Wrestling with the demon and the reality that it wasn't his responsibility to be strong. It was the responsibility of those around him to protect him. And I don't want to stop protecting him. Because he is that little boy. And it is our job to protect him. They never did it. And I won't let him be failed again.
It's a very noble goal.
Noble nothing. I would do awful things.
Noble doesn't necessarily mean good or bad. Noble just means right.
Well, I agree with you. He is a damsel in distress, and he deserves a knight.
Careful. Caretakers can turn into monsters too. The idea of just doing it for you I'm doing this to protect you. I'm doing this because it's right. I'm doing this because you can't. Be a very dangerous slope. Can corrupt you just as easily.
It's been my whole life looking after those who refuse to look after themselves, and it'd be selfish if I didn't admit I don't, for a minute, regret a single bit of it.
Regrets are a strong motivator. Both being victim and a perpetrator.
You would know, hero. If I was gonna take anybody's advice, Max, it would be yours. And I know if I ever lose my way, I have the best guiding light to get me back. Or, wait, I'm supposed to go, oh, light, But I like the way you shine.
I like the way you shine.
And you have a way with words that are both harsh and eye-opening.
It's the thing about being a songwriter. It started with writing poetry. And when you're British and a little bit flop, you get beat up enough that, a handful of poetry books aren't going to get your ass kicked any more than you already are.
That makes sense. I mean,
Just more to write about.
yeah, I've always been kind of not jealous. Not I wouldn't say envious or jealous, but I've always seen poets as magicians in their own right. And the way you have, I just want to say this, the way we have with words is just masterful. And again, while they can be harsh, they're not ill-timed. They're not. They're direct but not violent.
Don't get it around. Like, keep it mostly under your hat. I know that I could say a lot of things when it comes to you guys, but I'd really like people to think that there's more of a mask there.
I don't know. I'm actually coming to like the less mask you have, the more honest you feel. The more honest you feel, the more I like you.
Oh, Max, be careful. If Jasmine heard that, we should have another reason to knock you on your ass.
I deserve it.
You liked it. I only say it because I think I like bringing it up.
I know you do. Oh, trust me. I know you do.
You're the only man who I've ever seen catch his reflection in the mirror and smile at a bruise, and I think that in itself is incredibly romantic. I'd say she doesn't know what she's missing, but she didn't miss. She pretty much connected every time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
I can't wait to hear all about it.
I mean, I can tell you all about it. I'm sure there are many a video maybe online about it as well.
Well, them internets, they have a way of getting things wrong as he, closes the browser of, the fight that night. He's like, it's really, we gotta hear it from the horse's mouth, I say. They have a way of photoshopping things.
I mean, it's funny you say smile when I see a bruise. Not every bruise I've had is a proud one, and while I try to be a light, I certainly didn't start out like one.
They say the best grief counselors, at least for addicts, were addicts once themselves. Probably because you've known true darkness, even within yourself. Makes it so easy for you to shine purpose.
I mean, what's that saying? Once an addict, always an addict. Never goes away. And, I think if I had to give my addiction a name, it's the addiction to survive.
Surviving isn't living.
As I've come to learn, yes.
Even my mother at her worst, when she abandoned the idea of true survival. I guarantee you she was alive. I don't want you to spend your whole life surviving. And if any part of that is us holding you back, if we are keeping you from taking that leap with her, man, you push me right down a flight of stairs. I'll get the fuck out of the way.
I know the gang likes to call me Atlas. And while that does have a negative connotation and a positive one, I like to see it as a badge of honor. And while I'm not trying to carry everyone's burdens, certainly not, I want you all to know that I wouldn't just toss you or cast you aside to lessen the weight I put on myself.
That's who you are, but we'd never forgive ourselves if we knew we stood in the way of something important to you. So you
I
can't
don't
let
even know
us-
what's important to me.
Oh, you know it's important to you. Those boys at that gym, you light up when you're within 50 feet of it. Your father, I've never seen you stand taller than when you're in his presence. You wear who you are on your shoulder. It makes me really wish a mask wasn't essential. Heck, even cats like you.
I mean, it helps when you know what they're saying and know what they want.
I just learned how to do the pss, 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 pss thing, and I feel like, do they think it means food? You speak cat. When I say pss, 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 what does that say to cat?
I don't,
It's not like cat language.
it's not like cat language, right? It's when I tap into whatever I tap into to speak, it all just sounds like English to me once it starts happening. So I don't really have a mindset or a frame of reference.
Harry Potter speaking Parseltongues. Forgive my little metaphor. Is that a metaphor? Analogy? Fuck Terse. So here's the
Fuck
thing.
turfs.
Fuck Tersh, yes.
So, like snakes, if I was like, so what if you could tell if I was pissing them off?
Maybe I imagine I imagine if it is like, because I don't know what it looks like from the outside, but I'm sure they just kind of look at you like you're imitating them, but not saying anything. Like when you
Right.
bark at a dog, and by saying the word bark or woof, I'm sure it's not like the words exactly, you know?
But every animal has like intelligent thoughts. I always thought how fun it would be, like if I played a druid in a D&D game and I tried to talk to every animal and really pissed off a storyteller. Like how funny that would be if we just like wandered around and talked to all the animals.
Well, I will say this: it's every animal is understandable. I wouldn't say intelligent.
There's a difference.
There's a difference. There's some are one track minded. Others, I haven't met many other. Well, I've met the few that have had conversations with me, but it's like I could count on my hands how many animals I've talked to recently.
I don't want to get off topic. I mean, we were brooding so well when we brooding, and you do look good when you brood. But are you a cat or a dog person?
I mean, I don't really have a preference.
Oh, that's so political. Are they listening?
I mean to say is
They're always listening, aren't they?
yes, I mean to say is I met my fair share of good dogs and good cats, and also met my fair share of bastard dogs and bastard cats growing up.
You know what? I'm gonna say it. I think poodles are dicks.
I, d- I feel bad for a lot of designer dogs. Honestly, they get a bad rap. They got a bad fate.
Oh no, I'm being prejudiced against designer dogs.
I mean, it's not the only designer you're being kind of rough to.
Oh, me. If you had seen that chair, it was not his best work.
I mean, I seen the chair. I saw it. I didn't know it was a person.
Right? Like you'd think that you would make it look a little like a person.
I mean, if I'm gonna be as macabre and morose about this, the fact that I didn't know that it was a person speaks to the quality of the item.
I think that that's actually really impressive when you put it that way. But I am no designer, and if I hacked up a bunch of bodies and threw a top over it and said it was my couch, you would not be impressed.
I'd be concerned, but I wouldn't be, again, macabre to people macabre and morose. I wouldn't be impressed, because if you just stuck a bunch of limbs and super glued them together, that's just a mess.
I'm a rock musician. I have seen a handful of mic stands that are actual human bones. And they looked like humans, and it was perfectly fine.
There's a difference between a mic stand for aesthetic purposes and a couch you sit on.
He said it was his best friend. Fucked up, if you ask me. Mostly because he's, like, singing really terribly into it. A lot of spitting.
Not everyone's a singer.
That's fair.
Do you want to talk about that? I mean, like, I can't imagine. I never really met my parents. I don't really have that kind of connection with adult figures like that. But
wow, I wonder what that would be like.
It's not great. I learned a lot of bad things too early. I can't.
Juicy emotional damage in there.
Yeah, there is. I can't, like, you seem to be.
That's hot.
I mean, thank you. I see you taking this whole "my mom was a chair" thing, and then when she was not a chair, I made her forget that she knows me thing. I know this is The Mask, but you want to be honest with me here?
Oh, here's this thing. You can actually be emotionally damaged and not spend every minute bringing it up. I know that is strange because we have a friend who talks at length about their emotional damage. But, like, you can actually just really, really suppress the hell out of it and never talk about it.
I'm not a therapist, but that's not good.
Well, but here's the thing. You said it right there. You're not a therapist.
No, but I am your friend. And the fact that this happened less than a day ago is something that I feel as your friend, as your brother, I'm concerned about it.
Sometimes I think to myself, it's damn lucky that we deal with so much insane bullshit that I don't have time to look at my life and go, what am I doing?
I find doing that helps. Being listless kind of sucks.
It's a good thing our life is literally one big dumpster fire inside a factory that produces on-fire dumpsters.
I wouldn't call that good, but I get your point.
Yeah, before this, it was just the one tiny garbage can on fire, and, you know, now it's all on fire all the time, so we've got that going for us. And here's the good thing about being in an on-fire dumpster. You are warm for your entire life.
You're also on fire.
Over. Yeah, you know, there's that. But, you know, in some people's case, Eh? It's smoking hot. Yeah. Look, you even got that lump over your eye, and you look damn good. Speaking of emotional damage, how's that Jasmine?
Well, I see your deflection, and I will offer you my response. I hurt her a long time ago, and then
Well, with how she put her hands on you, I'm surprised you were able.
this is when I met Jasmine. We were just two up and coming athletes in a world that thought that we couldn't make it, and we were together through thick and thin. And then at the Olympic trials, my career ended. And the thickness around me, that darkness around me was drowning me. And I didn't want it to drown her. So I selfishly took that choice away from her. And I hadn't seen her until when you all met her.
That darkness that surrounded you, it doesn't just go away when she does. It keeps growing until it's the darkness over your house, your life, all of New Orleans. Darkness of New Orleans. And it won't ever go away until you fix things with her. Do you think that last night helped?
I hope it does. I had to understand that she never forgave me.
Is this like a one ass whooping thing, or does she have to get you a few more times?
I mean, if you ask me, I'm gonna say as many ass whippings as it takes.
Wouldn't it be better if you guys spent your whole life together, and then she'd be able to throw down and give it to you anytime she wanted? Well, feel free to take your time. Think
Thank
about
you, I
getting it
appreciate
every time you wanted.
I appreciate that. I didn't even think she would answer my call when I called her. But she did.
Yeah. Aubrey's like on the end of his chair. He's sitting on like a nearby brick wall, just like
Chomping at the bit over here.
yeah, so excited by the fact that you have this love in your life, this tiny little spark of something, and visually, he can see you wrapping your hands around it and just keeping it warm from the storm and not letting that darkness in again.
I never fell out of love with Jasmine. Like I said, I was selfish. Took her freedom of choice away. And that bruise, that scar of regret, I'm gonna always wear that.
Can you give me a moment? He pulls out a new composition notebook and he pens to a page, and he writes down, "I'll always wear that scar of regret."
That's
But
going in
wouldn't
a
it-
song.
Yeah. But wouldn't it? Isn't it kind of poetic? The two of you in the situation you're in. It's almost like you have an entire unlife to make it up to her.
That is as if we lived through all this shit.
You know, the beauty of dying is it's so final, and you don't really have to solve any of your problems. So I say, let's rack up a shit ton of debt, because there's a good chance we're not making it out alive. We already didn't once, and the odds are not in our favor.
With that right there, we're going to take a 15-minute break. We are past our break time. For everyone who's watching, you guys have another 5 minutes to put your entries in
sounds good.
for the source book giveaway. We are handing away the Player's Guide. Gotten one of these nice, beautiful books to hand out to one lucky winner. Just go to the post on Darkness Over New Orleans Instagram account, and we will take it from there. We'll see you guys
Wait,
about.
Dylan, can we win?
I've already sent you the PDF.
I want things.
All right, I will see you all in. We will see you all in 15 minutes. Hell yeah. All right, let me add this person. Added a few, so we gotta go here. And that's a bit. What happened there? Three, 4, 5. Mm-hmm. Black, red, black. Red, black, red, black, red, black, red, black, red, black. What is this? Why is there this giant hole? What happened here? There we go. There's the mic. If you saw something before, no, you didn't. We're back now. All right. Okay, so we left off with you guys having a little chit chat, talking about the Max's past with Jasmine.
Yeah.
Let's kick it off again right from there.
All right. Let's start hot and heavy. We're gonna do a Max thing. We decided off camera.
No,
That's what we decided.
Several other things actually. I think I don't know if they're walking or if we're just standing still in this alleyway or anything.
I felt like we were in like a crappy neighborhood park with like, you know, the basketball court that's like the gate is slowly clanging.
Right.
And I'm like sitting on a wall that never got finished. Like there's like we're just, you know, we're getting around to it's got construction tape hanging
Yeah,
that's
it's-
just in the wind blowing.
Been under construction for quite some time. Yeah. I mean, yeah, considering the neighborhood we were the extent where we were with how crappy the how crappy the what the fuck is his name? Shit. What the fuck is his name? The creep. There it is.
Yes. Oh, he definitely somewhere weird.
Yeah. So I don't imagine he had.
I didn't even think about that.
Neighborhood he lived in. Yeah.
What about Dylan? Is it 2023 in this timeline? I think Dylan's muted.
Yes, it certainly is. Sorry, I was muted. Thank you. Because I was typing.
I don't know. Based on the neighborhood, it might be $600,000 or $700,000 to live in a tent in this park. But are there any tents in this park?
There are no tents in this. It's not a park. Like you guys are now like at a derelict apartment area. Like,
okay.
The buildings
so like
are just
5 million.
Yeah, but there's no one living in this area. It is so it got destroyed at Katrina, and it's just a reminder of what once was.
You know, these buildings tend to remind me of when I was a child. Max, tell me about. My understanding is you also grew up otherwise non-home located. What's a nice way to home challenged? I'm not saying this as an offense. I too was, and I don't want to put down your living situation, but you didn't have one.
I was not a foster home reject. I rejected the foster home system.
You flipped it on its ear.
I actually tended to squat in places like this, neighborhoods like this.
How would you tell if you had like a good, safe place?
It was never safe.
I always had that thing about like being a foreigner and you know how Americans feel about that. It's very hard to get into the foster care system because they're like, you know, send them back over the wall. But I was like, Americans, like there's no wall between us and Britain. But, you know, Americans in geography, it's not like they took the class.
And no, I imagine not. Actually, I'm curious about your upbringing, Aubrey.
I'm an open book. What's there to say about Aubrey that isn't worn on his shoulder?
For an open book, a lot of your chapters are locked tight. But I'm curious about you. How did you become Aubrey Valentine, the musician? What does that track look like?
You know, like most musicians, you just sort of fell into it. You know.
You are not most musicians.
I'm going to choose to take that as a compliment because
I hope you did.
I don't know what you mean by that.
I mean to say that of all the musicians I've met, which is not many, you're you. So I just want to know how that translates from growing up and how does
You think I grew up?
No, you.
I just learned better dick jokes.
Well, I'm just genuinely curious about you. I mean, I don't really know much. I know you are an artist. I know that your label dropped you.
Wow,
gotta.
just came right out and said it, huh?
I mean, if we're gonna just come out and say things, yeah.
I get it. I mean,
I mean,
my bruises are more internal, so therefore you can't see them. But
right. I feel like I don't really catch up with all the celebrity shit, but I'm surprised that hasn't been talked about more. Anyway, uh, I'm just curious about how you became, because I know that was very similar in our in our in our upbringings. Well, similar in some ways, but
well, and he looks around on both sides, both for Katz and for Ambrose. He's like, in truth, I could tell that ever since learning about Ambrose's fame, there was a sore spot for him. So talking about it it didn't seem to lead to anything good. Why give him another chance to feel like he's lost something? Something that I never really coveted in any sort of special way. My billboard was a means to an end. You know, you don't put your mom's face up on a billboard to find her. I tried to put mine up in hope that she would find me. But I wasn't the high she was chasing. Musician was a means to an end, and I was lucky enough to have it. Well, I had it. Was a little boy, you know, like most little boys. Grew up in America, British. Um, a little bit single mom situation. Living couch surfing. That's an American term I learned. She would stay on this gentleman's couch or that gentleman's couch, and a few times even the beds. And, well, here I am. My father, either a doorman or a musician. It's hard to say. She didn't get names. But she did get backstage, and she couldn't get enough of the music. More than the drugs, that was her thing. And I spent more times being babysat by the guitar tech than the sound engineer than my mother. And when your mother's obsessed with music, and the only way to get her to see you is to become what it is she enjoys. I listened, I studied, I tried, I most of all felt. And music is a feeling. And when you're falling apart and someone shoves a mic in your face and they stop paying attention when you tell them all about it, it's kind of hard to stop talking about it. I had something real to say, and people noticed that. That's when I met him, and it all hasn't been the same since. He promised me a future and that my mother would not be able to ignore my face because it would be everywhere. And never brought me comfort. But eventually I found her. And now she doesn't remember her son, so.
so tell me this: do you like music?
You don't have to wear a mask when you're on stage. They think it's a show anyways. So in front of a crowd, despite it all, I was my most authentic self. And when you get to be yourself, and even though people think it's an act and they love you for it, it becomes its own addiction. I started telling more and more truths about what I was, until I was told to stop.
And now you're trying to be underground with it.
Well, between you, me, and the wall, I have a lot left to say. And there's a lot of people out there like me who need to hear it. Who need to know that they're not alone.
when the Harvester and Jacques were trying to trick us about your mom, about having her. When I, I made a decision, despite knowing how deeply it would affect you if we fail. I I think because she was faceless, because I didn't know her, because I knew of her behavior towards you. I didn't care about her life as much as I should have.
How does that make you feel now?
I mean, it made me feel shitty then. Still makes me feel shitty now. And I see how angry you get with Ambrose about your mother. And I think some of your ire should head to my direction as well. From my understanding, they had no idea that they had your mother. And while I didn't have your mother, I had their fate in my hands.
I don't want you to think that I'm not mad at you. I am. You're not getting off easy. I'm not harder on them than I am on you. A lot of what's inside of me, keeping Ambrose at a distance with everything that's going on, with the blood bond being what it is. It's safer for them at a distance right now. I don't know if it will ever wear off. I don't know how long it will take. And being mean to them is harder than you can imagine. You, without my mother, and even after everything that's been done, you're all I have. And it feels a lot like kicking a puppy. I don't blame Ambrose for what he is. There are times that I cherish him for it. There are parts of him and parts of you that I wish to see in myself. And I need you for those things. But more than anything, I admire you for them. You made a choice. And you had my best interest at heart, whether you really think about it or not. I don't think I would have had the strength to make the decision you made. But it's something I admire about you. Don't beat yourself up too bad.
I don't just I just don't want you to deify me. I know you talk about looking up to me and wanting to be like me and all of that. I'm just as human as you was.
We're not human, but go on.
That's what I mean.
Flattery will get you everywhere.
I will make mistakes. It is fact of life and unlife. And if I do make mistakes, I want you to call me out on them. I want you to rebuttal. I don't just want you to take my word as law. I want every ounce of emotion, every reaction. If I'm fucking up, I want you to call me on that shit.
You're asking a lot of me, but I don't think you understand. When I put you on a pedestal, it's not because I see you as without fault. It's because I see the person that I can call on all of their bullshit and all of their mistakes and own that. I can hold you up high because every time you stumble, you will become better for it. I want to be that. I want to realize my mistakes the way you have. And I want to keep on going and be better for them. Sure, your life, I deify you, okay. It's going to be a lot harder for you to maintain the image that I have for you in my head. And I do plan on holding you to that image. Because when you fail, I'll be right beside you to tell you how you failed us and help you together carry the burden of all of our failures.
Can't do that watching me from a pedestal.
I like how you look up there.
I'd rather be standing side by side with you.
I'm not going anywhere. Now, to this neighborhood, what do you think a place like this goes for?
Given capitalism, a fuck ton.
Well, without a job, I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be able to hold on to Kiernan's place.
You didn't you? I thought you did find a job.
Well, I haven't been there yet, have I? I'm assuming time off for werewolf fighting is not. Were creature fighting is not.
I mean, you can. I mean, we could always work at the. You said you dropped your mom off at a shelter, right? They're always looking for workers.
Yeah, I was volunteering there for quite some time. I feel like it'd be weird to show up and be like, hey, how about you throw a little of that cash my way?
I mean, hey, charity only lasts for so long.
That's true. And if anybody's got money, it's that Big Daddy Jesus.
Again, you're not wrong. Your words are weird, but you're not wrong.
It feels weird that they ask you to tithe as you walk by like a solid gold altar. It's like, yeah, well, you need a replacement for your solid gold altar. Well, that makes sense. You have to have two of them. You never know. The other one will just give out.
Hey, religion is just as much a business as everything else.
Tastes bad in the mouth.
I say this specifically because I think I know you wanted your mom to forget you, and I know you talk about watching people from the shadows, but this might be one of those times where standing in the light might be the best.
Well, I'm right next to you, and you do shine bright.
I mean, with your mom.
I tell you, if Jasmine takes her eyes off you for a minute, she's gonna lose you. You can remind her of that. There is a guy that's just... every chance he gets, he's gonna remind you of how great you are.
I think you gotta... I know if... this is gonna sound weird for me, but if it was me... even if I was just watching my mom with all the shit we've been through, I would see as much as I could.
Not any safer for her in my life. I know it's easy to say.
Becoming a vampire in this world in these past 2 months, I have learned that the world's dangers are more infinite than I could even imagine. You being there for her is not gonna add or subtract from that list.
I don't want to take a swing at you, my friend, but the reality is, this is one of those times I'll take advice from somebody who didn't already gamble with my mother's life. And I don't mean that to hurt you.
I get it.
You just have to face it. I don't have any parents now. Just possibly a daddy.
No.
Ah, come on. You know I need that advice that you got from the streets. Tell me a tale about living on the streets and how you came up as a young tough. And in this story, tell it like a sexy story. Like, you're probably shirtless. One of the ones where you were shirtless.
I'm not telling a sexy...
Fine, didn't they just tell me? And he, like, leans his head on your shoulder as he's sitting on that wall kicking his feet. Tell me about little Maximilian. When did he know he'd be a boxer? When did he decide that he was ready to fight with his fists?
Well, funnily enough, that wasn't entirely my choice.
Weird how those things happen.
Growing up, I grew up fight to fight. I pretty much, if I could raise my hands, I would fight something that day. And if I won, I'd take everything I could. I mainly attacked or targeted wannabe gangsters, or gangsters even, real hoodlum types trying to make a name for themselves. I mean, if anyone's gonna have money, it's gonna be adults with just the biggest egos, throwing it around like they own the world.
You're saying that like you have a picture of someone in particular in your mind.
No, just an archetype. I fought, and I thought I was damn good at it too. I won more than I lost. Slept with one eye open. Even that didn't help.
I imagine you still sleep with one eye open.
But it was around when I was about 13, 14. I'm on my usual route, looking for people to fight, get a good meal in. When I see these three particular ones going after this old man, following him into an alleyway. Now, in my mind, that's a jackpot. They looked like they had enough money to last me at least a couple months. So I go in. While they're distracted with the old man, I glass one from behind. while the other ones are shocked, I take advantage, but I was a little too cocky for my own good, thinking I could take on 3 at once. Numbers prevail. I get my ass beat, but I still come out on top. I'm concussed the fuck. I'm about to pass out. Can't focus. I'm sure 1 or 2 of my ribs is either bruised or cracked or broken. And I'm not even paying attention to the old man. I'm just going through wallets, taking off chains.
And I imagine your shirt was ripped, and you weren't 15, you were 18, and yes, I see it all very clearly in my mind. He's like, his hand's making his way to your hand.
No, and no. I finished collecting what I need to do. What I need to collect is quite a haul. And the first thing this old man says to me, not a thanks or a sigh of relief, he chastises me. He calls my right hook a flimsy mess of kitten scratches. I'm mad, and I want to sock this man with that right hook, but I can't muster the strength to lift my arms, let alone even scowl at the man. And where I expected to see an old man cowering in fear and being relieved, I see this cocky son of a bitch who thinks he could have easily taken those 3 boys. No problem. As if he knew from step 1 that he could handle himself. Instead of thinking that's cool or anything like that, it pisses me off more. That cocky nature, that powerful mindset. As he's done chastising me, talking about my form and how he could have done it better, he offers me a meal. He offers me friendship. Offers to train me.
What did you say?
I said, fuck you. And I wobbled out of the alleyway.
But what became of the old man?
I mean, it's not hard to know who the old man is.
I don't know.
Fucker. You're a fuck. I wake up.
Is he important to the story?
He's one of the most important people in my life. Life, whatever.
Did you go back? Did he train you?
I mean, I ran into him again.
Oh, but this time your arms were working and you gave him an ass kicking he didn't forget.
No,
He
he
kicked your ass.
kicked my ass. That's right.
Remind me again why you're my big hero.
Because I'm taking ass kickings and learn from it.
I do like that about you. Yes, you can take a beating.
He beats me. I wake up in the gym. And I see a bunch of people. Some people I recognize from the neighborhood, some people I don't. But they all have that look. That look of wanting to be stronger. And I can see them actually accomplishing that. They're not fighting, growing stronger to survive, or to thrive, or to prove themselves mightier than anybody else. They're fighting to improve themselves in their state of mind. Something I didn't think was possible. I didn't think you just fought. I thought you just fought to live.
You must have never watched Ip Man.
I mean, I didn't have a television when I was growing up in the streets, so no, I didn't watch many movies.
Well, now don't I feel like the asshole?
As you should.
And this nice department store I could sit in front of. It was right in front of a bodega. They'd play old kung fu movies. It was the best. I entered the dragon. I fought inside the rings of Mortal Kombat, all in my head. My strength would always be my tongue, and, well, I mean, we are here, and light is very romantic, and we are sharing stories, and I have my strengths, you have your strengths. Anyways, you were telling a story.
I eventually stopped being a stubborn son of a bitch. I mean, my whole goal is to kick the old man's ass.
Did you ever beat him?
Not once. Now he's sheriff. And we're facing much, much worse.
Crazy, his story's so much like your father's. Do they know each other?
I think they do.
Can't wait to tell him. It's like you have two dads. Some of us don't even have one. So when did you start training for the Olympics?
As soon as I woke up in that gym.
And you didn't know that's what you were training for?
Nope. I just continued to fight like every day was just another fight.
And now you're going to be primogen of all the Gangrel people. Who would have thought little Aubrey Valentine hanging out with royalty? We'll have to get you a throne, a big one,
Please no.
and put it in the center of the ring.
No. No ring, no thrones, no crowns, no garbs, none of it.
Is animal print like sacrilegious for you, or I think we should just embody it? I think full animal print suit. Let people know who you really are.
I didn't dress like
Big
that when I was
purple
boxing.
hat.
I'm not gonna start. No.
Like a cane.
No.
I saw just the outfit in the bodega near my house.
I'm not wearing a bodega royalty outfit. That's not happening.
Well, it's a leopard print suit with purple hat.
That leopard does not look good on me.
It's definitely a lady's church hat.
I'm sure it sounds like.
But it is very big. A big hat for a very important man. I can see it now. You'll walk in there and your hats will be bigger than all their hats. They'll know who's in charge.
Why don't you tell me about your first performance?
I don't like this game that you're playing.
I mean, you started it.
Yes. I pride myself on being good at it.
So, get to tooting.
If I wanted to, I could make you forget.
You could, but I found a way to get this conversation going again.
For those reasons alone, that I will continue talking.
Thank you.
So it was a wonderful night, and people were very satisfied. Now tell me,
You know I want more details than that. I just gave you a whole dramatic spiel about how I met Angelo. You could at least give me something.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Something. How are you feeling? What did you sing about?
I could taste the air, and not the cigarette smoke, not the stale beer. I could taste the excitement growing in the crowd. I wasn't embraced yet, but I could feel the energy in the room, all of them. My hair stood on end in a way that didn't mean I was about to be killed. Threatened by a giant creature while standing before a queen who would have my head just for opening my mouth. It was excitement. To say the air was electric would be an insult to electricity because the air was alive. The hum of the mic gently backfeeding as I stepped towards it. I disappeared into the moment. It was like I was in my room, a little boy in an oversized t-shirt. Because, you know, you'd never really owned anything. You just found things. And I found myself here. Fell backwards into it like I had my entire life. And I just hung like I was the only one there. But when I opened my eyes, there they were. It was like how I felt the first time she saw me. First time she heard me belt the lyrics to bring out the wolves, and I was hooked. I really liked it. I liked being seen. I liked that so many people saw me, heard me, actually listened to me. They knew me. And by the second show and the third, those were even more important because I didn't have to sing. They were louder than my set could ever be. The roar of the crowd. The stage was too far apart. I love a small show. I haven't played one in so long. It separated me from people that knew me. Before I could think twice, I was flying. I was in the air. I leapt from the stage into the crowd, sank into the pit, tasted the sweat. I grabbed A drink from the counter, I downed it and right back into the pit, and I just kept on singing. I would do just about anything to go back to that simple life. In the center of a mosh pit, surrounded by people that would knock your teeth in, and I never felt safer. No one's kinder than a metalhead when you've hit the ground. They're not animals, even they know you've got to pick up and protect your own. But eventually that all goes away, the minute I signed on the dotted line. It wasn't my message anymore. They weren't mine. More people filled the room, connecting with the fame and not the person. They didn't care what the message was, and I ceased to care about them. I was a young man at a rock show. He reaches up and he grabs for the moon, and as if for a moment, truly feeling like he could reach out and touch it, he was someone. And he's never felt closer to people than at that first show, where he felt seen, but here, where he shifted his weight, where he's leaning almost entirely on someone so close to him. Finally gets to feel seen again. He collapses back, head looking up at the stars. Then he pulls out his notebook and begins to write, while not stopping talking. And how did it feel for you, heading to the Olympics? Did it feel the same to be seen? When you had no one and you were on the streets, and people walked by you like you were a ghost, cold and hungry, a child without shoes, looking for a place to curl up. You might not wake up in the morning, but no one will discover your body for months, because you don't exist when you're homeless. You're not a person. They don't see you when you're right in front of them. But now you are someone, and they can see you. How did that make you feel, Maximilian Washington? How did it feel to have them pretend to care about you?
I never cared about other people when they watched me. Violence was who I was. The crowd was just another factor in that. Another ever-changing factor of my day. All that mattered to me on the way was being better than my opponent. But the more I trained with Angelo, the more I trained with the gym and those folks, my need for violence wasn't a need. I wouldn't call it pride. I wouldn't call it a crutch. But I think I would call it something else. My violence turned into an art.
Aubrey has begun sketching a picture of officer in an alley with 3 men and an old man. And he's writing lyrics along the margin. And it's the story of Maximilian Washington. And it talks about the scars of regret that he carries with him and how violence wasn't violence, it was an art.
I wasn't fighting for the next day. I wasn't fighting for accolades or wins. I was fighting because I was good at it. Fighting because I could. Fighting because every fight made me better. I think I just always wanted to be better. Better than the boy I was.
So you never needed the crowd.
No. It's never about the politics of the crowd, their approval or disapproval of me. But I did want to make people. I did want to make people proud.
Of course not. You had your daddy watching you.
Not just him, but everyone in that gym.
Do you think he's proud of you, Max? I imagine he is.
He's proud enough to give me the title of Primogen. And that's something I have to carry into the meeting this weekend.
Why have you allowed us to waste our whole night when we should have been investing in what you need to do next?
Because that's going to be a box.
Wait a minute. Literally?
Maybe.
Well then, you've already won.
It's going to be
We'll
a
have-
fight.
We'll have to get new shirts when you become the Primogen.
What are these ones going to say?
I'm sure I'll come up with something perfectly vulgar enough to be enjoyable for me to wear every day. But do you have any suggestions I'm willing to take?
I've never been good at that.
I'll leave it to your marketing team. We've got it all figured out. It's easy to market for somebody who is extremely lovable and never fails to win in his own way. Even when he loses, I have a feeling the people that matter will remember. Jasmine's gonna remember exactly the way you lost for her. I'm gonna say it again, she's a lucky girl.
This fight. It's not a fight I'm not sure I want to win. I'm not sure yet.
You don't want to be the Primogen.
I hate the politics of this life I've been given. It
If
always
your
leads to
hand
more shit.
If your hand isn't on the steering wheel of the car, can you really trust who's driving?
I want to.
I'd feel safer on the road with you at the wheel.
That's because you know me.
Well, they'll all know you soon enough.
Yes, I suppose they will.
Oh, you're stressed out. You've performed for bigger crowds than this.
It's the fact that it's smaller that's the scariest part.
Well, you don't look like someone who'd be afraid of something small. Of course, then probably you don't know what to do with it because of the size. It's easier to work something a little bigger, like a bigger crowd. It's easier to whip them up. That's what we're talking about, right? Crowds?
I
Nothing else.
sure hope we're only talking about crowds.
Well, no one's looking. We can be talking about whatever you want.
I'm not scared.
Not even a little.
I'm angry.
I could do angry. Go on.
I'm upset that expectations are already being set for me. And I've already failed.
What do you mean? Who said you failed?
Those I'm going to face.
You know what? You're Primogen. Let's have them executed.
We need all the help we can get. Whatever we're facing, be it Harvester and the Oblivion or the were creatures and their whole shtick.
Fine. They can live. But they're on notice. If one talon out of line, or hoof, or paw, they're done.
I can't afford to lose allies.
I can tell that this royal executioner job is not going to be as fun as I had hoped it would be.
I'd hope that executing people isn't the fun thing.
Well, I just figured, like, I need a position, and
So
fine, I'll be a first lady.
I hate to do this, but we have to fade to black on this scene right now. It is getting late. We're going to do the giveaway in a few moments, but first we need to fade to black on your scene, and stage opens up on Ambrose really quickly
I'll do
as
it.
he is
I
as he is moving through the back alleys of the streets in the city, doing his absolute best not to be seen by anyone, masquerading as Thorn right now. And darting his eyes back and forth through the darkness, looking for a quiet space, a quiet, either an alleyway or a street corner or something. It's late enough where there aren't many people out, and the ones that are out are not paying attention. He gets to the corner of an intersection where the alleyway meets the main street. There are no cars in the area. There's one or two people off in the distance. They're back towards him. He quickly runs to the street, leans over, grabs a manhole cover, moves to the side, and simply says out loud, unbeknowingly, I've put this off for far too long. This has to happen now. And he slowly descends into the sewers and closes the manhole over him. With that, we're going to end tonight's episode of Darkness Over New Orleans. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Let's jump right into our giveaway, because we only have a few moments left. Go here, but boom! All right. Here we go. So we have all these names up here. Look at all of this. All right. So that's a lot of names. There's a good amount of people who had multiple entries. So if you had more than, if you tagged more than one person, you got multiple entries. So you are all up in here. I don't believe I saw your name on the post, my friend. Yeah, okay. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, boom! Here we go. Yep, it's spinning. It's spinning, it's spinning, it's spinning, it's spinning, it's spinning. And the winner is Whipthorn! Oh man, I haven't hung out with him in a minute. Good person, good person. He was part of the Hogwarts Professors group, so we're going to message him and let him know that he has won a copy of... Oh no, go away. Boom! The Player's Guide. All right.
Yes, you can pick it up at my house, where I will be keeping it for you. And we talked about this beforehand. It's not a big deal, guys.
So thank you very much. Let's do our exits, everybody. So let's go ahead and start with Thaddeus.
Well, don't ever start with. Don't throw it to me. God damn it. Hi, everyone.
You poked the bear.
Thaddeus. Yeah, that's my fault. I'm Thaddeus Atlas. I play Aubrey Valentine, a sweet vampire boy, and I'll be here every Thursday, except when I'm not here, and that's a thing. Our lovely storyteller was Dylan, and thank you for hosting our giveaway tonight, my scene partner. Congratulations to Fluffy Goomba for his Primogen title, and what a wonderful guy to get to do a whole episode with. I feel so blessed.
Christian.
Hi, everybody. Hey, it's me. Christian, aka Fluffy Goomba. This is my computer fan. I think this is what you guys have been hearing.
I haven't heard it at all.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Because it's quite loud in my ears, so I wasn't sure if it was me that you guys were hearing about this. Because you said, I saw in the chat, they were like, what's that sound?
No, out of nowhere, I heard, like, Spanish.
You were talking about skinwalkers. You brought this on us all.
There you go, yeah.
I have been Christian, aka Fluffy Goomba, here all over the internets. You can find me on Sundays, 8 p.m. EST, on Tragedy of Theologian, on Total Party Kiss, it's Greek Myth Inspired 5e campaign. I have been here. I've had a wonderful time this evening, just role playing with my boy, my brother. Trying to get them to talk, but they're an elusive, dismissive son of a bitch.
We did it, man.
We did. I got some stuff out of them. That's better than nothing. You know?
What more do you want?
Everything.
Oh wow. Okay, go on.
Everything.
We ended the episode too early.
Too early.
He wants it all.
Yes.
And I am Dylan, roll for Dylan across all the interwebs. You can find me here and only here because I don't have time for anything else, unfortunately. I did write a children's book, so I just put up the website right there, www.fantasybooks.com. It is on pre-sale right now. It should be available for purchase on April 8th, if I'm not mistaken. So it's coming around really quickly. Yeah, I don't have anything else. So, my friends, thank you very much. What a fantastic episode. And everyone, have a good rest of your evening.
Robin, we miss you.
We miss you,
Mwah.
Robin.
Robin, miss you.
Good night, everybody.
Blah.
Bye.